What's up everyone, this is Lord Brodyark here. As anyone paying attention should be aware of by now, 14 isn't performing well at the moment. In fact, the game's population has dropped so low that it took me more than 20 minutes to get into the brand new 7.3 Alliance raid, Sandoria, on day 1 during peak hours on Aether. That's insanity. It's clear for everyone to see that people are leaving 14 in droves. But why? Well, the why is obvious. The quality of the main story quests have been in free fall ever since Endwalker. New patch content barely lasts the player base more than a few days to complete while taking months to release. And quality control has been flushed down the toilet. Go ahead, tell me it's acceptable for issues like Necron Extreme not dropping the correct amount of totems, or an Alliance raid boss not respawning correctly after a wipe to make it into a patch release. How do things like incorrect cast names, swapped item names, or accidentally adding a useless stat to a new piece of gear pass quality control? The only possible answer is that they're not even bothering to try. How is this acceptable? Does Yoshi P and his team have no shame? Do they not give a shit? And to address the dev team themselves here, please stop getting us these worthless apologies. I don't want to hear about how sorry you are that we're not happy. I don't want to see you cry on stream again. I want you to fix the problem. Write a better story. Make better content. Actually play test your game. And look, some of these issues will take time to fix. I understand that. But I honestly believe that you've had plenty of time for a lot of these issues. We have been trying to communicate our issues with 14 to you for literal years. What have you done since then? All we've seen so far are empty promises that have yet to be fulfilled. And beyond that, some of the stuff is things you could fix today. Where's the quality control team? You cannot tell me that you don't have enough money or labor to name items correctly. You cannot tell me that there is too much spaghetti code to make gear have the right stats. We are not playing on a public test realm. We are not your playtesters. The fact that you feel that this is acceptable to release is genuinely insulting. All of this while the online store gets even more optional items. This shows a deep lack of respect for your player base. The only reason I'm still subbed to this game is because I still enjoy raiding content. I know it doesn't appeal to everyone anymore, but it does to me, so it's enough to keep me around for now. But I gotta be honest, guys. That might change with the way things are going. Now, I'm sure some of you are asking, Brodyark, where's the proof? All you've given us is an anecdotal and a rant. If you want some evidence, here's a tweet I found reporting on Square Enix's MMO division's quarterly report, and it really isn't looking good. These are really bad numbers, guys, and I think they speak for themselves. People are not happy with Dawntrail or how 14 has been handled, and understandably so. But sadly, and yet to no one's surprise, there are still those who would defend this to their dying breath. And of course, the Twitter squad are amongst 14's greatest defenders. What logic drives this behavior? If any, I will not be trying to understand it. I value my sanity too much. However, we can still take a look to see what's going on, so let's do that. This Sethios guy here brought up how a lot of the blame falls to a certain poorly written character. While I don't think Wuklamot is the primary issue with 14, she certainly is tied to a lot of Dawntrail's story issues, that's for sure. And those story issues are part of the reason 14 is dying right now. However, here's where one of 14's defenders decided to enter the scene with this tweet here. This is something, alright. Look. I've said it before in the past, but Asmongold is one of the most popular streamers on the internet, and a lot of people share his viewpoints. You don't have to like him or his viewpoints, but acting like they're fringe and radical ideas is simply coping, brother. And I really don't like the painting of anyone who doesn't subscribe to woke ideology as troglodytes. Especially when below this very tweet you're wishing that Sethios here would off himself. Holy Zodiark, that's messed up, man. If anyone here is the animal, it's you, brother Driftwood. Here's another, thankfully less vitriolic attempt at defending this. I understand why you would come to this conclusion, and it is a fair one. It does make sense that 14 would make less money this year than a year with an expansion drop. However, let's not pretend like this is merely because of that. Discontentment in the 14 community is the highest it's been in a very long time, if not ever. Many are leaving the game because it's simply not offering them what they want anymore. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it took me over 20 minutes for a brand new Alliance raid under peak conditions. That doesn't exactly indicate a healthy population for the game. Let's finish off the video with everyone's favorite bacon of positivity, making yet another return. Why does it seem like this guy is always involved with these kinds of topics? Once again, at least Mr. Bacon isn't telling people to off themselves or raging out here on Twitter. After all, he's saving the raging out for Blue Sky. Look, Mr. Bacon, I know that as a bacon of positivity you must stay positive at all times. But this is coping, brother. Sure, maybe the numbers dipping was inevitable after COVID. But you can't deny that a lot of the people leaving, including the WoW Exodus players, have left because 14's quality has dropped. This is something even Yoshi P has admitted. Had they handled 14 properly, many of them would have stayed. But instead, they finished the Dawntrail story, found nothing worth staying for, and left. Alright, I think that's enough Twitter for today. I can feel some of my brain cells start to die from this, and I would prefer to keep my enormous intellect, if you brothers don't mind. Anyways, as always, leave your thoughts in the comments. If you've quit 14, tell us your story about how, why, and when. And if not, tell us why you've chosen to stay. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. Well, this has been Lord Brodyark. Peace out.